Hello, my dear students. How are you? Hope you are fine and well. I am MD Mahabub Alam, Instructor English, Khulna Polytechnic Institute. And my subject is English. And the code number is 65712. I think you have already memorized the code number. And this is my 10th lecture. And today's topic is clause and sentence. Very boring topic, I think. But I can assure you that I'll try my best to make it interesting, more interesting. My dear students, Eid Azha is knocking at our door. Eid Azha means sacrifice. And I think you are getting ready to observe this Eid with due solemnity. Generally, Eidul Azha means big cow. But really, the matter is not like that. It's the festival of sacrifice. And this sacrifice started from Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. It's a long history. I don't like to go to the history. I would like to return to our lesson today. Clause. But hope you will enjoy this Eid with due solemnity, maintaining the health rules. Because now we are passing a very critical moment due to the COVID-19, due to the coronavirus. So, take care. Okay, let us get into our discussion. Our objectives. Students can be familiar with clause. After doing this class, you can be familiar with the clause. Then learn different kinds of clauses. After this class, you will learn different kinds of clauses. And eventually, you will also learn how to use it in a sentence. My dear students, do you understand me? Yes, I believe you understand me. And you understand what I'm saying. And I'm sure you understand each and every word I'm saying here. Because I'm using very easy words so that you can understand what I'm saying. Okay? Okay. Clause. What is clause? Clause is a part of a sentence. It's a part of a sentence. And it contains a subject and a verb. So what is clause? Clause is a part of a sentence. And it contains a subject and a verb. So clause is very easy thing. For example, I know the girl who is singing a song. It's a sentence. Just look at the first example. I know the girl who is singing a song. This is a sentence. I know the girl. This part of this sentence is a clause. And who is singing a song? This is another part of the sentence. So who is singing a song? This part is a clause. And I know the girl. This part is also a clause. So this sentence is formed with these two clauses. Okay? So I know the girl, it's a part of the sentence, and who is singing a song, it's another part of the sentence. So I think clause is clear to you. Clause is a part of a sentence. And in a sentence, there may be only one clause and there may be more than one clause. Okay? Now look at the second example. He told me that he would go to Canada. Look at the sentence. He told me. It's a part of the sentence. He told me. It's a part of the sentence. So it's a clause. And that he would go to Canada. From that to Canada, that he would go to Canada, this part is another clause. And this sentence is also formed with these two clauses. So he told me one clause, and another clause is that he would go to Canada. So what is clause? Clause is a part of a sentence, and it contains a subject and a verb. Just look at the second example. He told me. He subject, told verb. One subject, one verb. And then that he would go to Canada. After that, subject he, and would go is verb. So one subject and one verb. So each clause contains one subject and one verb. Okay, now I think clause is clear to you. I'm discussing on clause. Why? Because after clause you should do simple, complex and compound. So to do simple, complex or compound, you should better know clause before doing simple, complex and compound. So without clause you will not be able to understand what is simple sentence, what is complex sentence, or what is compound sentence. That's why I'm now discussing on clause. So I think clause is clear to you now. Classification of clause. Clause is of three kinds. My dear students, clause is of three kinds. First, principal clause. Second, subordinate clause. And third, coordinate clause. It is of three kinds: principal clause, subordinate clause and coordinate clause. Okay, now if anybody asks you on the classification of clause, I think you will be able to answer. Clause is of three kinds: principal clause, subordinate clause and coordinate clause. And I think you are realizing and understanding what I'm saying, my dear students. Now we will discuss on principal clause. What is principal clause? A clause that expresses the meaning of a sentence independently is called principal clause. I'm repeating it. A clause that expresses the meaning of a sentence independently is called principal clause. That is, principal clause is an independent clause. It does not need any help to express its meaning from another clause. 100% self-sufficient clause. It is principal clause. Now, look at the example. The first example, we know. The underlying clause, just look at the underlying clause. We know that every man must die. Here we know. This is principal clause. Okay? And that every man must die, this part is another clause. It may be subordinate or something other like. I will discuss on it later. But just look, we know it's principal clause. Why it is principal clause? Because it is expressing its full meaning. Then the second example is, this is the place where I was born. This is the place. This clause is principal clause because it is self-sufficient. When we say this is the place we realize, yes, yes, this is the place, this is the place. The meaning is clear to us. So this is the place where I was born. In the sentence, this is the place, the clause is principal clause. And principal clause needs not any other clause help. It is self-sufficient. Without the help of any other clause, it can express its meaning independently. That is why it is principal clause. I think principal clause is now clear to you all. Okay, now subordinate clause. Subordinate clause. A clause that depends on principal clause to express its meaning clearly is called subordinate clause. Subordinate means dependent. So subordinate clause is dependent clause. It depends on principal clause to express its meaning clearly. Without the help of principal clause, a subordinate clause cannot express its meaning clearly. Okay? Now I think it's clear what I'm saying. And on the comment box, I see Sharmin Akhtar says clear, sir. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Shamim Akhtar. And I'm sure you are the most brilliant students, and I'm sure you understand what I'm saying, and you also understand each and every word I'm saying here. Relative pronoun or subordinating conjunction takes place at the very beginning of the clause. Or before subordinate clause, you will get a relative pronoun or relative adverb in the form of subordinating conjunction. It is called subordinating conjunction. And this subordinating conjunction may be relative pronoun, may be relative adverb. And you know what is relative pronoun? Who is the, who, what, who is that? These are relative pronouns. And when, where, relative adverb. So these things are used as subordinating conjunction at the very outset of the subordinate clause. Okay. Now look at the example. I do not know where he lives. I do not know, or I don't know where he lives. Just look at the underlined clause. Where he lives. This is subordinate clause. Because if you delete the portion I do not know, just delete it, I do not know, where he lives. If anybody say where he lives, then the meaning is not clear. But when somebody says, I don't know where he lives, then the meaning is clear. So, where he lives is subordinate clause, and it is taking the help of principal clause to express its meaning clearly. Besides, where is a relative adverb, as the relative adverb is just before the subordinate clause and is used as subordinating conjunction, so it is subordinate clause. Mind it, a subordinating conjunction must take place before a subordinate clause. So we can recognize subordinate clause seeing the subordinating conjunction. Then look at the example 2. We know that every man must die. We know that every man must die. That every man must die, this is subordinate clause, because that is a relative pronoun and it is used here as subordinating conjunction. So that every man must die, it is a subordinate clause. My dear student, I think now you are understanding it. Just look at the example number 2. We know that every man must die. If you delete the first portion, we know. And if someone says that every man must die, then the meaning is not clear. But when someone says, we know that every man must die, then the meaning is clear. Okay, so I think subordinate clause is clear to you. Now coordinate clause. What is coordinate clause? Coordinate clause is really very easy. A principal clause that is connected with coordinating conjunction is called coordinate clause. That is, coordinate clause is nothing but a principal clause. It's a principal clause with a coordinating conjunction. Okay? In fact, two principal clauses are connected with coordinating conjunction. Two principal clauses are connected with coordinating conjunction. And you know what is coordinating conjunction? And, or, but. These are coordinating conjunction. In the previous slide, we told what is subordinating conjunction? Who is that, when, where? These are subordinating conjunction, and subordinating conjunctions are used in subordinate clause, and coordinating conjunction is used in coordinate clause. Okay, now look at the example. The rain stopped and we started again. And we started again. Look at the portion. And we started again. This is the coordinate clause, because here is the coordinating conjunction and. Okay? As this clause is connected with coordinating conjunction, so this is called coordinate clause. In the same way, look at the example number 2. Read attentively or you will fail. Or you will fail. This portion is coordinate clause, because we are getting or, coordinating conjunction, just before the clause. So it is coordinate clause. Okay. So read attentively or you will fail. Or you will fail is coordinate clause. I think coordinate clause is clear to you. I want to repeat it. Coordinate clause is nothing but a principal clause with a coordinating conjunction. Okay? And coordinating conjunction is and, or, but, etc. I think it's clear to you all, my dear students. Now I want to discuss on sentence according to the formation. Generally, the classification of sentence, we know sentence is of 5 kinds: assertive sentence, interrogative sentence, imperative sentence, optative sentence, and exclamatory sentence. Generally, sentence is of 5 kinds, but according to formation, sentence is of 3 kinds. According to formation, sentence is of 3 kinds, and these are simple sentence, complex sentence, and compound sentence. If you want to do simple, complex, or compound, you need to learn at first clause. That's why I have elaborately today discussed on clause at first. At first, you should learn clause, then you should start simple, complex, and compound. And in exam, in the transformation of sentences, you will get the transformation of simple to complex or complex to compound. You will be asked, you will be given a simple sentence and you will be directed to make it complex. Or you will be given a complex sentence and you will be directed to make it compound. That is, you have to change from simple to complex to compound. And that's why you need to learn at first clause. Okay? So now simple sentence. What is simple sentence? Simple sentence means a principal clause. That is, simple sentence is a sentence where there is only a subject and a verb. So, the sentence that contains only a subject and a verb is called simple sentence. Then complex sentence. What is complex sentence? Complex sentence is formed with a principal clause along with a subordinate clause. Okay? One principal clause and one subordinate clause. One principal clause plus one subordinate clause equal to complex sentence. Okay? So, complex sentence is really very easy to trace. When you will find a subordinate clause with a principal clause, it is complex sentence. When you will find only a principal clause, this is simple sentence. And in compound sentence, you will get a principal clause and a coordinate clause. Compound sentence is formed with a principal clause and a coordinate clause. That is, a principal clause plus a coordinate clause equal to compound sentence. I think it's clear to you. Simple sentence. Very simple. One subject and one verb. For example, I eat rice. It's a simple sentence. I went to Dhaka. It's a simple sentence. He went to Canada. It's a simple sentence. Because he went to Canada. He, one subject, went, one verb. It is simple sentence. A sentence that contains only one subject and one verb is called simple sentence. Then complex. Complex. I do not know where he lives. It's a complex sentence. I do not know. The portion is principal clause, and where he lives, the portion is subordinate clause. That is, look, one principal clause and one subordinate clause. So it is complex sentence. I do not know where he lives. We know that every man must die. We know principal clause that every man must die. It's a subordinate clause. So it is a complex sentence. One principal clause, one subordinate clause. It is complex sentence. Okay. And in compound sentence, we get a principal clause and a coordinate clause. The rain stopped and we started again. The rain stopped. It is principal clause. And we started again. It's a coordinate clause because here we get a coordinating conjunction and. So the rain stopped and we started again. It's a compound sentence. I took my meal and I started the work. It's another compound sentence. I took my meal, principal clause, and I started the work. It's a coordinate clause. So, one principal clause, one coordinate clause. This is compound sentence. Okay, my dear students, in the next class, I will discuss elaborately on simple, compound and complex. Okay, today I have just given the synopsis you on simple, complex and compound so that you can just learn what is simple sentence, what is complex sentence and what is compound sentence. And every year in the exam you will get simple, complex or compound. You will be given a sentence and you will be directed to make it simple, simple or complex or compound. So it's very important. Okay, my dear students, today time is almost over. So I wanna request you to watch this video twice or thrice so that you can understand everything what I have said today. If you watch the video twice or thrice, then it will be clear to you. Okay, see you next class on scheduled date and scheduled time. Till then, stay home and be safe. Eid Mubarak.